you. Thanks for your time, man. And I just start from your origin story. Tell me about yourself. Where were you born and raised?
I was born in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and I was raised here in Seattle, Washington, in the CD, the old CD, not the new one now, since the rejuvenation aspect.
And tell me about growing up. Grow up with mom and dad, or?
Yes, I had parents, but things happened, and I left home when I was 13 and was on the streets and ran into some gangster disciples, and they took care of me and showed me how to live life different.
13's young.
Yeah.
Why so young? What was going on at home where you said, I'm out of here?
Just family problems.
Any brothers or sisters?
Yeah. One brother, stepbrother, stepsister.
So when you first, at 13, went out there to the streets in Seattle proper, 13, were you scared?
Yeah. Not really knowing, because live the shelter life as a Jehovah's Witness. You can't really associate outside the organization, and so if you're like cutting that part off, you're like a newborn baby and dumb in this world. And like I said, I just ran into a group that had principles and character, and kind of showed me the difference between being a thug and being more than a thug, kind of, I guess.
So from 13 to what age?
I'm 55.
Well, but were you on the streets from 13 to?
Oh, I was on the streets for like a hot minute, because selling illegal substances, this or that. I mean, our society is the biggest consumer of drugs, so it's not difficult to prosper off of it.
Well, we were just talking about what a drug is earlier.
Yeah.
Lots of legal drugs.
Trust me, I even sold cigarettes.
Illegal drugs. Lots of drugs in our society.
I've sold cigarettes out here on the streets, and you can make money off of it.
Sure.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm just keeping it I'm not trying to incriminate any myself as well. So
well, I mean, I hear I had to do what I had to do to survive. Right.
But then that's what I'm saying. When I started rolling with the G's, it was more than just survival. The difference between being a thug and a gangster is a thug will steal the money out of his mom's purse, for whatever. A gangster will make sure that his mom's purse is on a chair in a house that he bought for her. That's the different perspectives. So even though a lot of that dehumanizing part we was talking about puts everybody in one category. But even though we're in one category, there's separations and sets within that category, and there's different perspectives. Like I said, the way a gangster wakes up in the morning and looks at life will be different than the way a thug wakes up in the morning. Because a thug just wants what you got, A gangster wants to make sure that you got. You understand? That's the difference. So a lot of people will look at me and just say, he's bleh. When I try to be more than what you see. I am more than what you see.
Yeah.
I just, whatever you see is what you see is a reflection of who I am. So whatever reflection you see that's going to be their perspective or their. You can't beat nobody's opinion. No matter what I tell you, if you believe it's 9:00 at night, but it's light outside and whatever, I'm never going to be able to tell you, no, bro, it's almost 1, because it's your opinion. I can't change it, because I don't have whatever it is that can alter choice or somebody's opinion. I'm not that gifted, so I can just. I'm willing to be able to change my opinion of ideas if I listen to other people's perspectives and can sit and not be argumentative about it, but listen.
Open-minded.
There it is. There, and willing to maybe investigate or try or whatever. Where a lot of people, like we were talking earlier, that's why we have like the upper class and the poor than poor now. Because throughout, even though we're talking about how great America is, the poor is going backwards. So how can we be great if some of our society is not advancing like the upper classes? I mean, money's fine, okay, but you can be rich in other things other than finance.
That's right.
You can be the richest person in the world in Can we curse?
Yeah, absolutely.
And a dick,
Yeah.
okay, or an ass, or abusive, or whatever. I've seen so many of these upper class people, men usually, and I see how they treat their animal. Okay, now this animal is, well groomed, and he spends money on just the maintenance of this animal, but he's abusive towards dogs and stuff. So I can just imagine how he is with other people that he's around, and I see that on a regular. And the one that I see that's abusive to his pets is the first one that wants to point at that person and say, "Oh, he's he's this or he's that," when I can observe him being worse than the names that he's calling others. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that's problem with our society. We kind of lost track of what we were supposed to do. And we were lost, like Moses when he was leading them in, and they were lost for however many years. That's how our society is now. We're lost, so we're all going on our own way, and because we're going our own way or our own path, we kind of lost the group or societal concept of looking out for our brother. Because I can't look out for you if I'm on my own. If I'm on my own, because you're going to steal from me. So why am I going to fuck with you? So I'm just going to leave me alone and just let me do my thing. And I think that was the idea. That's the way you win at war. You divide and conquer.
Yeah.
And that's what we're still at war. God's war is still coming. So, the more we divide, the weaker we become. And he wants us as weak as possible. God's adversary, my bad. God's adversary wants us as weak as possible. Because I'm not here to preach anything, but I believe that there's a God, and I believe there's a devil. Okay, and they've been at war for however long, and the echo of that war resonates through us all, and we have to move within that wave of war coming. So and he puts enough force. The devil puts enough force to keep us divided, to keep us what's this shit called when you have a conspiracy theory? Yeah, conspiracy. We don't. Is there a God or is there not a God? Is this one as many conspiracies as he can muster? Those conspiracies separate us because we have opinions and choices. Yeah. So one chooses this side of the conspiracy, and one chooses this side. Now because of the conspiracy, we're divided.
Yeah, that makes me think. You're saying something about war, and it's almost like seems like it's hard for us to live in a community together, to help each other, to do things together as like a symbiotic unit.
Right. A group working as one.
I feel like it's like we're all individually. It's like we all are at war individually with each other, in a sense. Like we're not working as a community anymore.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Even when we have like the community spirit that has an organization that's talking about community. Within that organization there's individuality. I don't want to say any names, but a lot of these non-profit entities, that's here to help the community, they're more about profit, even though they're if you're a non-profit entity, okay, I'm just speaking in general. I'm not. Why would you want to be a non-profit entity? Okay, if you're okay, the word prophet symbolizes someone who a leader that's going to lead and be able to foretell the future. A prophet like for God. I'm not saying but for God, but a prophet. Okay, or a profit for your pocket. Yeah. When you're a non-profit, okay, that means that you're being deceitful. Okay, you're okay. No matter, because I understand the concept of business. You just can't show you can't show a profit. Okay, but even that, okay, the word profit symbolizes not the financial part of profit, but the essence of the original word profit. What the word was designed and implemented for. So when you're a non-profit, that's kind of showing that you're not, you're going away from what the original design of the word was for. I want to connect it with the oracle or whatever, but because I'm masculine. But to me, a prophet, it would be like an oracle, but just a masculine version of an oracle.
I've always heard of it as kind of like this
someone who can foretell the future,
or
and
like a mouthpiece for God, or kind of this.
Talk to deity.
Like
Someone who's connected with a deity.
Something like that.
With a higher power.
Yeah.
So something that's glorious and beneficial and enlightening. Okay, so that's the word that I'm hold on to, that prophet.
Right,
so when you're
right.
a non-prophet, so that means that you're not trying to be a mouthpiece for God, or you're not trying to connect. I mean, I'm just saying that to show you how split and divided we become, right? Because I remember back in the day, it was like black ops and all this, the secret government shit. That's all they had was non-profit companies, and that's how they all got caught, right? Because they you can hide who you are in a non-profit. So when you have these Christian communities doing the same thing, okay, it's just an echo, like we were talking about. Now they might be government, whatever, but they have these churches or organizations as a front or whatever. I don't know, but I'm just saying that the echo of that is starting to resonate, where you see these non-profit companies all of a sudden getting cracked up for not money laundering, but
it's mismanagement of money.
Yeah.
That's what they call it.
Yeah, when you get a check for what, like $400 million, hey, somebody wants to give you $400 million. Hey,
Well,
I'm happy. But then all of a sudden you get caught for not money laundering, but embezzlement and stuff like that. It's like, oh well,
Yeah.
you kind of seen that coming. You have Danny there, who's not part of the company. He's just like I am, someone who's going to be able to benefit from it for whatever they're going to do. So he's holding a big ass check, taking a smile, and you see all you see is $400 million. And all of a sudden, less than a year later, you hear this CEO and this president and this manager and blah 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 all got arrested for embezzlement or blah blah. Same company. You got $400 million.
It does happen. It does happen.
You get $400 million and you got a non-profit where you don't have to show. You can. It gives you a wider gap and a bigger eraser.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Let's get back to your story growing up.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is, I love talking about this, but I want to know.
Yeah.
Keith,
You're on a mission. Okay. Go ahead.
Let's see. 13, you're out there. In your 20s, what's going on in your 20s?
By the time I was 20, I was I tried a couple of different schools. Met a female, got married, had a kid. I was living in Minnesota for a while, working, still selling drugs. I mean, still in that lifestyle. And I did that for. I mean, I guess I did a little traveling. Across the United States and Mexico for a while, but
yeah.
It's
You had son or daughter?
At that time I had a son. Can we take a edit? I got to get this.
Yeah. We'll pause. Let's take a little diversion about. Tell me about public restrooms and your experience with lack of
public. Yeah, because one day last week, because there's no public bathrooms, and when you have to go, you have to go. And I was downtown, so. I try to avoid as much traffic or people as possible, and just find me a corner somewhere and just a minute, 2 minutes, whatever, handle my business and then keep it pushing. The security guy for that building came out and he was like, hey, blah blah blah. And I'm like, bro, I gotta go. I said, there's no public bathroom, so because there's no public bathroom, the public is now my bathroom. And he was like, no, you go across the street and see that building right there, go over there. So you're saying, okay, instead of your building, you're saying this building over here. So it's. Everybody knows that we don't. There are no public bathrooms. But don't piss in my yard. Go piss in my neighbor's yard. Yeah. If it's okay to piss in if you're okay for you to direct somebody to piss in your neighbor's yard, then it should be okay for your neighbor to pee in yours.
Or let them come in and use your restroom.
Yeah, or just put a porta potty. You see, the problem is, it's not the city's issue for the lack of public bathrooms, because they put a porta potty out where a group of homeless people are, but then the damn homeless people will burn the porta potty down.
It takes one person to wreck that thing.
And it constantly happens. So, and it's like when you see those encampments, it might be a vacant lot or whatever, but after like 6-7 months, it's like a dump. They go take shit. They call it diggling. Take shit out of somebody's out of a dumpster and bring it home. Because they're going to fix it or they're going to do something and they don't fix it. and the public bathroom scenario, the city is trying to do their best, I believe, to manage it by at least making the porta potties. We're going to call those public bathrooms. They're spread out. But it's that selfish individual or drug-induced individual, whatever, that wants to burn it down or fall asleep or whatever happens, he destroys it.
Yeah.
So not only do you destroy money for the city, so they lose, but now we lose a way to pee in private or handle your business in private. So it's a lose-lose scenario, and it's always it's going to be it's a problem.
Yeah, it's a problem for sure.
It's no quick fix solution. I mean, how much does it cost to build a porta potty?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I'm sure it's not that expensive, but accumulating between 1,000 to 10,000 a year. I mean, it's they was into the cost effective analysis, to determine.
I don't know.
Yeah, okay. Well,
I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, but I hear you. It's I have a hard time finding a restroom.
When I gotta go, like I said, there are no public bathrooms, so the public is now the bathroom.
Yeah.
If the stores, I remember the mall had public bathroom. There was always somewhere back in the day. There was always somewhere you can go when you had to go. Now all that's cut off. Between COVID and all the devastation that we had. Even businesses are starting to separate, and go their own way. So if you're not spending money, you can't come in and use the bathroom. No napkins, blah, blah, blah. And in some states, like Arizona, because of the temperature, I remember back in the day, if somebody came and asked for a glass of water, by law, you had to give them a glass of water. Because if you didn't, and they went outside and died from heat stroke in front of your business, right, you can get sued. You
get in trouble.
Right. So that concept, and now that's a statewide law or statewide legislation. So, I mean, if I'm not saying that Washington has to tell businesses to open up their doors to go to the back, but if you don't want anybody peeing on your wall or on your building, and you want to complain about it, you as a business needs to come up with a solution instead of looking towards the city. That's
again, it comes back to that communal living.
Exactly.
Right? Like, how do we function as a community?
We're not a community.
Yeah.
We're a whole bunch of individuals living within a community, pretending that we're a society. But even our society has different sets. We're different organizations. Some secretive, some whatever. We are not okay. We are not a society. Okay. Even as Americans, or like in Africa, okay, even though they're all Africans, there's different tribes, sets, or what you want to call them, and even though they're all Africans, there's each group, tribe, or whatever is still individual. I'm even thinking of South Africa, the white people too. Even within an organization, okay. To me, an organization is 1,000 different components working together for the organization, working for one. Okay, so we're a mass group, and we have one goal, and it's moving this way. As an American, or as our society is today, we got that mass group of 1,000 different individuals, and we're all just vibrating, and the ball's moving like this. We don't have one goal. We don't have purpose, because we lost our purpose. We lost our way. Okay, and that's what's wrong. That's the direction that we're going. Not just as Americans, but people. Okay, we're so caught up in ourselves, and just taking care of ourselves, that we I can't look at you. I can't worry about you right now, because I'm right here. Me, my wife, and my family. So that's all I care about. As long as we're good, then we're fine. I can't worry about you, because I'm just going this way, and everybody's doing that. Okay, and the problem is you and I can't go the same way, because we're in a bumping head. So you can go your way. We have to, as a group, or when you, I don't know how to say it right.
Well, what comes to my mind is, like, I hear what you're saying, but it's like I think about traffic and the freeway. We're all going in this way individually in our cars, but still we're like signaling, crossing lanes.
I look at it like a ship, you know,
or
same,
ship,
same like a ship,
something like that.
Yeah, because I guess the driver's ship, you can't just turn the wheel and you're gonna turn like that. The back end has to swing around. I mean, there's different actions that has to happen for. I'm talking about a huge ship to huge vessel to go to its purpose or its goal. Right, and even though you have the waves coming, so you're going to have all these problems. But the turn, like I think the ass end comes out, and then the ass end is what turns, and then so that's the point I'm trying to make. For us as society to move forward, we turn or we rotate from different parts of
collectively
us.
have to.
Yeah. Sometimes it takes like. I was happy about the women's liberation, you know, where women have their freedom and their independence, which is beautiful, right? We need stronger women, but I think as the concept of family as a whole then suffered, because now that women have their independence, we have the divorce rate went up 1,000-fold. Now I understand she might have been in a bad relationship or whatnot, whatever. I'm not trying to say anything, but when you split a family. Okay, she might be happy with John and then Terry and then Brad after the marriage, but the kids now got Uncle Tom, Uncle Jerry, Uncle blah blah blah, and that's hurting the child growing up. They don't have that loving family environment, you know, that they used to have. Now I'm not saying that, you know, after divorce that they can't have that. I'm just saying that we're talking about consequences behind it, and now because of the increase in divorce rate, the consequences behind that, you know, has increased, you know, 100-fold.
Maybe so, yeah.
Okay.
Well, let's talk about. So you got married at one point?
I was married when I was like 20, 21.
And then you were not married at some point.
Oh yeah, we were married for like 10 years.
Oh, 10 years? A good run.
Yeah, I've been married twice, and each one was like 10 years.
Yeah. And one child?
Oh no, I got 3 boys.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and you know, a stepdaughter and this and that.
How old are your boys and
my youngest one is 18, and my firstborn he passed away.
Sorry to hear.
Yeah, remember that divorce thing we were talking about? Yeah, he committed suicide. Shot himself twice. The first time he survived, and then a few years later he did it again. So
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I have 2 little girls, and as a parent,
yeah,
it's brutal.
Depression, you know, I mean, people suffer from depression, and there's all forms of depression, you know, and like I said, sometimes it's just that family environment, I think is what can contribute to whether or not how a person handles depression. You know, that motherly thing. Mothers are the nurturers, right? They're the backbone to the family. Okay, so when that backbone breaks, and you got to implement something else to support it, right? Sometimes that support doesn't recognize depression or whatever, you know, or doesn't see that the child is. I don't want to say off, but just not how it was, you know. And so I mean, when it's both parents' fault. I'm not trying to say it's one or put the blame on one. It's both of our faults. I didn't see it, and he was out of my life for a minute, but I had my opportunities, and we talked. And even when he talked to me about the situation about the gun the first time, I thought it was okay.
You just didn't know.
Yeah.
How would you know?
Well, if you're a parent, you know your child.
Well,
if your child, like, have you seen when you're in the park and like a kid falls and says, "Mama," okay, and there's like 100 moms. The mom whose kid that is knows, and she's like, "Oh, she's on point." It don't take, you know, a parent knows their child. Okay, yeah. Some moms know that the kid's hurt and he's in another state or whatever. You know, as a parent, because it's a part of you. Okay, it's you. But it's you know what I'm saying. So you know like you know your kid kind of.
Yeah.
You know, so when that light is extinguished.
Yeah, man.
You know.
Tell me about your son. How old was he?
He was 24.
Oh, young, yeah.
And he was like 17 when he shot himself. You know, he was going around telling everybody that he was playing or cleaning a gun or whatever. but he admitted to me. He told me.
Oh wow.
He told me that he did. And when I asked him why, he just said he was depressed. And and every time I talked to him, he's always laughing. We were ping ponging, and I mean like conversation back and forth. And his mom used to always get mad at him because like she'd tell him to do something and he wouldn't do it. But as soon as I say, hey man, you gotta do it because your mom's gonna get mad, not hanging the phone up or not pay the bill or whatever. He'd be yep, and he's on it. She's like, oh, your dad tells you one time and you do it, but I gotta tell you, blah 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 blah. And we would laugh about it. So because I heard him laughing all the time, I was under the impression that okay, cool, he's laughing, he's not depressed, he's happy, was what I was assuming.
Yeah.
And even though we lived in different states, we still had phone calls and letters. So, but I wasn't in. I believe I wasn't in his life enough to help iron out some of the wrinkles, and a wrinkle was too much for him. I don't know. It just got bad.
What about you? Contact with the other two sons?
Yeah. We right. It's I don't know. Women that I'm around is basically all from the same mode. They know my lifestyle, or they knew the lifestyle. They accepted it, in the beginning, and then I guess they wanted me to change or quit. And I.
Tell me about this lifestyle. You said you were
selling.
Were you in a gang as well?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Gangster disciples and selling drugs.
Okay, gotcha.
And having a job. So I was a triple threat, and they knew that when they met me, when I had the car and everything. And they knew my lifestyle. I had the 2 cell phones. I still have 2 cell phones. It's just a habit. And so they knew that lifestyle when we met. And then all of a sudden they're like, well, you need to stop. Change. They always want to change you. Well, if I was good enough, from the beginning, why do you want to change me now? Because if you change me, then I'm not going to be the same. So I won't look at you the same. And they, we go our separate ways. And then they want to use the child as a weapon.
Leverage.
Yeah. As leverage, and I don't like being controlled. I have a hard time. I mean, I don't mind being under authority because you got to have rules, you got to have boundaries.
I don't think anyone likes to be controlled.
Well, so actually, some people do.
You think?
Oh yeah, I know some that. What do you call that shit? Submissive and all that kind of stuff. I mean, hey, it's a lifestyle.
You're talking about the sub-dom?
Yeah. That's not my choice, but some. I mean, there are some out
there. Consenting
to being controlled.
Yeah, but it's also like, you got a point. Some people might live that lifestyle.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So I don't mind, give and take.
But it's not for everybody.
Yeah. I don't have to. I'm not an authority figure. It's not my way or the highway. I can work with anybody, but when I feel like you like that leverage thing we're talking about, to me that's a form of control, right? Yeah. And you can't use my kid, which is a part of me, which a part of my light. You can't use a part of my light to control me because that's my light. Even though it's our light. You want to take more than half now. You see what I'm saying? That's that it's that I call it the Eve syndrome. Okay, and like when Eve gave Adam the fruit, she already bit it, so she already knew. She already had the knowledge. So when she was giving it to him, she knew she was doing bad. Before he even touched it, she knew. Okay? That's that controlling part that I'm kind of talking about. Where they know, I have this power over him. So if I want him to buy me this or whatever her incentive is, she can use this in order to get that. Whether it's the power of the pussy, the power of the child, the power of whatever, or the fruit, whatever. And to me, that's. I mean, I think that echo is resonating, and every time there's an echo or another wave, I think it gets stronger. It magnifies. Now, I mean, that's just my own personal opinion. I'm nothing in on a pile of dirt. So, I mean, other than being the light for God, I believe in a higher power. But other than that, I mean, I'm not nothing other than like.
Well, you're a person living in our community and society.
Yeah.
So
I'm not trying to elevate myself above anybody.
You have value and worth, is what I'm saying.
Yes. And I have a conscience and I have a heart
and an opinion and
and
lots
choices,
of things.
and I have boundaries. Okay, so I don't want to put myself in some pedestal, but I don't want to put myself under some subhuman standard either. I mean, I'm homeless. Yes, I am.
Yeah. Well, let's touch on that. Like, when was the first time you became unhoused? How did that happen?
Okay, I did 8 years in prison. Okay, the last in Western Washington. I didn't hear shit about COVID. I had no clue about COVID. I got released in 2019. Okay?
Right before COVID, right?
Yeah, right before COVID hit, right before it hit Washington bad. So I had no clue about none of this. Now, the problem is our prison system is adding to is part of the homeless problem, because you have a residence before you go to prison, but and then to get released early, you got to submit your address. If they deny your address, now suddenly you're homeless.
They deny your address. What does that mean, even?
To get put on probation, right? To get put on probation, like, okay, say you go to prison for 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay, you get good time. Okay, now you do master your good time. Say you do 7.5, 8 years on 10. So that means at the 8-year mark, because of your good time, you're eligible for release. Okay, probation, early release, whatever. Now the probation department, because you got DLC prison and you got DLC supervision, which is probation. Even though it's the same DLC, they're divided. Okay, one doesn't work with the other. So your probation officer, which is a DLC officer, right, doesn't come to the prison and blah blah. You got to call him and you give him your address and blah blah blah. And he's supposed to go and looks at your address. If he denies it,
like kind of vets it and says this is a real address. This is like a real.
Or they'll look it up and say, oh no, you got arrested at this address, or whatever reason they have to deny it.
They can just check.
Yeah, they just say denial. Now you don't know that you're denied until like maybe 6 months before you're getting ready to go home.
So you're good.
So you're planning on going for 8 years. Now for 8 years, the deal is for you to get good time. For 8 years, you got to go to school, you got to work, you got to stay out of trouble in prison. So you have to do specific performance in order to earn your good time. Because it's earned good time. Now when it's time for you to be compensated for the years of what your perceived performance, now you have some third party says, oh no, you don't get it because your address ain't approved. That wasn't a part of the original deal, but now you're stuck. So now you got to try and find a new address while in prison.
And so did that happen to you?
Yeah, while in prison, yeah. So now, so because you can't, they end up putting you in homeless shelters. That's usually what it is.
So when you got your early.
No, I got okay. When you finally get out, after your early releases, I mean, if you get out in 7.5, that's 2.5 years of prison that you get to get out.
Yeah.
So sometimes it might take them 3 months, 6 months, 9 months.
The process.
The process. So what ends up happening is you end up going to a homeless shelter.
Gotcha.
So what you're telling me is that my address is denied, so you can put me in a homeless shelter. How now whatever the reason was why you denied me, the police showing up or drugs or the neighborhood or whatever reason, you tell me that's not happening at the homeless shelter. That makes absolutely no sense. And that's what it is. A lot of times they implement laws and rules for societal change, but they don't implement anything to adapt for the change. Well, we know if we like I said, I grew up in the CD before the rejuvenation. Okay, rejuvenation was just clearing all the gang members and drug dealers and pimps and prostitutes out of the central district, so they can buy the property dirt cheap and put the homes for Google and blah blah blah. But they didn't have any implement for where were these drug dealers and pimps and prostitutes and blah blah blah. Where were they going to go to? Right. So they just do a clean sweep. Bringing in all the money and the commerce. What their plan was, but. Where was all the dirt and dust was supposed to settle at? So everybody's floating about, trying to survive as they're implementing this new rule, but they didn't implement a way for the rotation.
Yeah,
okay?
Just
they just think, okay, move them out and they'll settle somewhere else.
Gentrification. I mean, it doesn't. Yeah,
that's
so much in there.
That's that dehumanizing thing.
Yeah, that's true. It's part of it.
That word, subject, insurgent, words, sex,
and it's people of color.
Yeah, people of color. That way, if anything happens to a person of color, or insurgent, or subject, or an offender, it's like, oh, okay, well, he was less than us, so it's okay. You know, that's the problem with war. Because back in the day when war happened, I mean, it was me and you. You know, if you're my enemy and we go to war, and you say we're supposed to fight Sunday. You show up on Friday because you're a warrior. You don't want to be late. I give you my word. Okay, we're fighting. We don't fight till Sunday. You're welcome to my house. You sleep in my bed. You bath, eat. I feed you. Okay, because my word is okay. One of us is going to die on Sunday, so I'm gonna treat you, like a man, because Sunday, Sunday you're my enemy. So right now you're not my enemy. So the enemy can come into the house, they eat, bath, whatever, and then come that Sunday they fight. And but I was just saying, back in the day, war was different. The way it was dealt with, because most of the time you looked your killer in the eye. Nowadays you push a button from 20 miles out in the ship.
Yeah, it's been like that for a little bit.
Yeah, so it's like a video game. It's like a Call of Duty. That's another thing. They make war a video game. It's that dehumanizing and the training preparation. That way you just push a button, and you can kill your deemed quote unquote enemy. And then the problem is, half of the wars, they're not beefing with us, they're beefing with somebody else, and we're going to go and help them out, but we're trying to hide, so we're black ops or whatever. It's so many conspiracy theories behind everything that, as an American, I haven't heard that our history, our history that's in our books isn't even our real history,
It's a mess. It's a mess.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
Who are we?
It's a mess, man.
We're Americans, and we're born black ops because we don't even know who we are. All the black people.
I mean, you keep talking about America. Let's talk about America and who has been here before any of us.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, the indigenous, the natives.
Yeah,
this is their shit.
Yeah, that's right.
Somebody came in and befriended them, and then gave them the banana and the tailpipe.
That's right.
Population control. Next thing you know, they own it. Okay, not divide and conquer, but that's a corporate. They did a corporate takeover. Okay, and they
that's
keep
still happening. That's
the echo of that is
gentrification. Well, let's get back to your story real quick. So, when you got out of prison, you went to a homeless shelter.
Yeah,
that's when you didn't have an address. You were unhoused.
I had an address, but it got denied, so I had to wait. I got to wait until I got approved to go to a homeless shelter.
Right.
So I went to the one on
in Seattle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Salvation Army.
Gotcha.
Okay, right by Dearborn.
Gotcha.
Right, and now everything happens. Everything is by design. So if the government, or whatever you want to call it, sends you to a homeless shelter, it's by design, because that homeless shelter is a beacon for whatever they got going on. And I'm not the dumbest. I'm not the dumbest in the box of crayons, but I'm the brightest crayon. And the light was to let me know that's not a good place. You know how many people go missing from homeless shelters? I bet you on that. I mean, last time I looked, over 300 gone missing from Salvation Army. Hell, this year alone, there's at least like 20 to 25 from Compass Center.
So I hear you saying you got out of there.
I had to.
Yeah.
I had to get out of there, and it was for my survival.
So you did not feel safe there.
I was not safe there.
Gotcha.
I was not safe there.
Yeah.
The last week, there was authorities kept saying, just go back. I promise you and everything. They said the city needs you just to go back. Don't know why he said it, but he said it. So I went back thinking, okay, they already know, so they're getting to bust them. The problem is they weren't coming fast enough when I seen the guy in the suitcase. I knew who he is and what he was, and I no. When I got out of there, they were literally trying to grab me, and just because when COVID hit, they start having check-ins where you got to be in by like midnight or 10 o'clock or something. Yeah, curfew. So if you're not in by curfew, you can get quarantined or something. And it was after the curfew check-in, and I was like, man, if I'm gonna go, I should have left like 5 minutes ago. So I'm on my bed, and I can hear the little groups, trying to figure out how they're gonna do it, because my big for me, my survival is to keep the next person guessing. If you don't know what I'm gonna do, how can you? So that's the only thing I can do. And then it just got to be where I knew. It's like my spider sense is tingling, and I know now. So I'm trying to get to the gate and say, look, man, I don't know if I'll say I'm going to go. And they had the button where the door's locked, right? And I heard him hit the button, click, click, and I knew the door was locked. Now the door's glass, so I mean, I was to the point where if I wanted to, I'm gonna have to run really fast and just cover up and jump through. But through the grace of God, somebody was late, and they hit the button, and because you have a badge, it'll automatically open.
So you went out.
So as soon as he opened the door, I was gone.
Yeah, wow.
And I never been back.
Well, let's talk about. So I'm currently
homeless
here.
Yeah. And just on the other side of the bridge.
Gotcha.
I'm kind of by the city parks and recs building.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it's, and I've been there for. I talked to the guy today. I think I've been there for a year now. And when I first moved in, the neighbors, at first they were like,
Well, you have a tent?
Yeah, I got a tent, and and a big. I got like a 70-foot tarp, So I got a tent and a space outside the tent that's covered. And my neighbors, because I live in the park, it's just a small park, and then all the neighbors are, and all the buildings are on the hill. It's like the park, like a mudslide happened or whatever. So all the neighbors said, look, as long as you stay quiet, you don't let nobody.
So you've actually conversed with your neighbors and talked to them. Yeah.
They said, as long as you stay quiet, kind of clean the park up a little bit, and don't allow any more tents, homeless people, no more than 3 more, because we won't complain. And I don't let anyone come in. Sometimes people try to move in, and I'm like, no.
So this is a interesting to me, because you're in a neighborhood, and your house neighbors, and they are working with you.
Yeah, somewhat. In a way, yeah.
Now, are they also like, when it was really cold last month?
Yeah.
They come and like help you.
And they bring clothes, food. Some of my neighbors. Yeah. Like when it's really cold, tell me come to their place, and shower, eat, So I mean on some nights when I usually have a fire, that's why I'm always smelling like smoke. I usually stay warm, but sometimes when it's been raining for like 5 days and you can't get dry wood, and I'm cold, I'll go to a neighbor, and stay overnight. I won't sleep in the bed, but stay overnight and we'll talk, and take a shower.
That's amazing. To me, that gives me hope.
Oh, yeah.
Because we were talking earlier about how everybody's like button heads and this, but you're giving me an example.
Not all of my neighbors.
Sure, but some.
But yes, yeah. Most of my neighbors, every neighbor that comes through the park will stop and talk with me. They
know you by name.
At least say hi.
They know you by name. You know them by name, kind of.
Yeah. Well, I don't know them by name, but some.
Or recognize them at least.
Yeah. I recognize my neighbor. At least they say hi. Nice day we're having, or they say something uplifting, and I respond. It's not always disgruntled. Now I had one neighbor when we first moved in. She was not happy, and she tried everything in her power to move me out. I mean. When I'm coming with a wheelbarrow full of wood or a cart full of wood, and I got to go down to get the next cart, she would take the cart and move it down a block and like dump it down, everything she could to get me out the park. Even come in, like when I'm eating dinner, come in and you don't live here, this ain't your property. And I'm like, hey, this ain't your property either. Your property's right over there. Go home. I'm not even at your house. Why are you talking? Why are you ruining my dinner? And she kept it up for like a month or 2 months, and then. Eventually, she just realized that I'm just as stubborn as she can be if I want to. Like I said, I hate being controlled. Yeah. If you had a better option or solution, I'm willing to listen. But if you just want me to move and do what I'm doing right now in another location, what's the purpose of me moving for other than making you happy? I'm gonna be in the same scenario whether I'm here or over there. So
totally. Two questions. Now, this woman, you see her still?
Yeah.
And you like wave, or is it quote unquote a little more friendly?
Yeah. See, at the time, my girlfriend, my girl I was seeing at the time, called her Karen. Okay, because she's not a caring person. So that was the for between her and I, she's like, oh shit, here comes Karen. Like I'm like, what's going on? She's like, oh, Karen's coming over. So I think she started hearing the name. I don't know what her real name is. But the name Karen, she realizes that's what we were calling her, and she realizes why we were calling her Karen. So I'm thinking that might have had a significant impact as to why she kind of changed her attitude. But yes, when I see her, I mean, I'll be hospitable, but I try not to interact with her because I know her heart.
Yeah, she didn't change. Her heart didn't change where she's like, okay, I'm gonna bring you cookies now or something.
Or whatever, or cookies with anthrax in them or something. I don't know.
My second question was like, would you, permanent housing? What would that mean for you?
Permanent housing, it would mean a lot. I mean, you trust me, I'm not. I think I've been homeless since like I haven't been homeless like maybe this is 24, like 3 years maybe. I mean that's still a long time, but I mean like I said, I've always had a place to live, job, clothes, money, that whole lifestyle. But permanent housing, which is going to be a government assistance, our government has that non-profit thing we're talking about, where there's a purpose behind that. Now, if it's just to put me in housing and get me off the street, to help the homeless population, that's fine. But if I have to go through another vocational school program and then this program and then I got to do this program and then do this program, and every time I'm in the program, you sign my name because you're getting a check for it. Okay, mm-hmm. I like I said, I'm not as dumb as people think that I am. When I look into something, I find a way. I can find a path. I can find all of your dirt. And a lot of these nonprofit companies or entities are people from Europe, especially like for the DOC part. Yeah, it's a business. Okay, when they're talking about the homeless population, like I said, it's the DOC that's contributing to the homeless population. Because you know how many people get released on probation a year? Like 90,000.
A lot.
Out of that 90,000, you know how many are put in the shelters? Like 60 to 70,000. Like 60, 70,000 people are put in homeless shelters a year just because they check a no off on your home is not good enough.
The address, right?
Yeah, your address ain't good enough. So all of a sudden, boom. And everybody's talking about, man, this homeless. We have to decrease the homeless population. Well, tell the motherfucking prisons to stop denying addresses.
Yeah.
If they did that would rectify, or that would at least put a Band-Aid on a broken leg. At least.
Yeah. It's a complex crisis, but I hear you saying that's a piece right there.
Yeah, it's a major piece.
That's a piece right there.
It's a major, because I go into prison with a home. I had an address. I had whatever crime you had me for. I had an address. Now I go to prison with a home. I come out of prison without a home.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're supposed to leave prison embittered.
Rehabilitation, they call it.
Well, yeah, that's what prison is a rehabilitation.
That's what supposedly.
Because it gives you a chance to think about what you did. Okay, either come up with a better plan or a better way of life. Okay, that's what you're sitting in. That's what you're doing time thinking about what you did wrong. Okay, so you did your rehabilitation, but now once you did your rehabilitation, now when you get out for you're on probation and they put you in a shelter, now you got to do all this other rehabilitation so the people from Europe can get paid for it. Trust me, they're from Europe.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of money, big business.
Yeah, and that's prisons are now the biggest business.
Yeah, for-profit prisons are huge.
Yeah, the biggest business in not in the United States but the world. I mean, and there's more prisoners or convicts in the United States than any other country.
Yeah, that's wild.
Any other country. We have our population. We have like 45 or 38% of our population convicted criminals or some shit. The next country was like the UK or some shit, but they were like 12%. It's like we more than doubled.
Yeah. At the beginning, we talked about this being the richest country, one of the richest cities. And you kind of redefine rich, but I'm hearing about all these profits and going like, we talk about rich and there's a lot of money here.
Yeah, there's
a lot of money here.
There's always been money here. They call it Seattle. That's why it's called the Emerald City, because, I mean, me personally, when I'm walking the streets can tell me where there's money at. Right now, sometimes I get the information. I'm misguided on the information, but. There is money for profit and non-profit to be made here in Washington. You can make money here.
And I mean, there's again a lot in there. We live in a capitalistic society, and this is all capitalism because it's like profit. Mm-hmm. People living in poverty are just being spit out at the other end of that.
You're right, but those people that's living in poverty, I don't know what the percentage is, but I'm gonna say majority of them have some sort of vice, whether it be cigarettes or
Wow.
any other drug.
Everybody.
And they're paying. And how are they paying for that? So I mean, it's people who are living in poverty, okay, whatever finances they have to set some aside to satisfy their addiction.
Yeah.
So it's not. I'm saying is, even though we're poor, we still have money. I mean, money is simple. I mean, money comes to everybody.
Yeah.
Who can work at it. And just, like I said, oops. I'm not what you see. Okay. Now, and like I said, remember we said earlier, I said I can never change your opinion. So whatever your opinion of me, okay, although it's wrong, I can't change it.
Yeah, watch that cord there, Keith. It was getting tangled up in the mic thing. One last question.
Yes, sir.
Keith, what would you want people of Seattle to know?
That God is there. Okay. When the first time that I heard God's voice, the first thing that God said to me was, even though I heard you calling, I'm not quoting it right, but although I heard you calling me, repeatedly, just because you didn't hear my answer doesn't mean that I didn't hear you. Okay, God said it way smoother than that, but that's how it came. Just because I didn't answer does not mean that I did not hear you. Okay, was the message, and it redefined who I am as a person. Okay, I just want everybody to know that you're not alone. Okay, even though you may feel you may be the individual or the only one in the group for whatever, you're not alone. God is forever present. Okay, yeah. Every time the wind blows, that's God. Every time, like rain. Okay, when you see the what's that shit called, the jet stream, that's a message from God saying that God's looking at the earth. Okay, that's one thing, that message I would give across. We're not alone. We're not. The war is not over, and God's not losing. How's that? That might be better.
Thanks for your time, man.
No problem. Thank you.
Hey, it's good to meet you.
Nice meeting you too, sir.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
We'll grab a little mic. We'll take pictures. Hey.